Slipknot kicked off Knotfest Australia on Thursday night in Melbourne. It was the first of 3 Knotfest Australia dates, with the next 2 happening on March 2nd and March 8th. And there were some very notable things that took place during that first show, beginning with the fact that Clown unfortunately has to sit out the entire run of dates due to a family emergency. Vended, the band featuring Corey Taylor's son Griffin Taylor and Clown's son Simon Cran, is one of the bands taking part in Knotfest, and they posted a statement online ahead of their performance stating that Simon would not be performing. Here's what it said. Unfortunately, due to a family emergency, Simon will not be performing with us in Australia. We will continue with a fill-in drummer for the next few shows. Thank you for understanding. See you soon. I mean, given that Simon is Clown's son, I think it was obvious that Clown would not be present for Slipknot's performance, and it became apparent that he, in fact, was not there when footage from that show surfaced online. Although we still haven't heard anything from Slipknot themselves. The only thing we got is from Vended. Hopefully everything is okay. The Cran family has certainly been through a lot, man. I mean, Clown's daughter, you might remember, died back in 2019 when she was just 22 years old. His wife has some health issues. He had to miss some shows in 2023 to be with her. She also has Crohn's disease, although I'm not sure if that was related to what was going on back in 2023. But regardless, that whole family has definitely been through a lot, especially these last few years. So all the best to the entire Cran family. But beyond that, though, the first Knotfest Australia show is also the band's first show since they finished the Here Comes the Pain 25th anniversary show, meaning that the set list no longer consists of just the band's self-titled debut. It's more of a traditional Slipknot set list, so to speak, which leads us into probably the most noteworthy thing about Knotfest Australia, and that is that the band surprised everyone and played Gematria, the Killing Name, live for the first time ever. The song is, of course, from 2008's All Hope Is Gone album, the album opener, beyond the intro, Execute. So nearly 20 years old, All Hope Is Gone came out 17 years ago. I'll put a link to the video of that performance in the description of this video, since I can't really play too much of the song here for obvious reasons. But what makes this so exciting is that, you know, there are plenty of songs from bands that don't ever get played live, be it, you know, a throwaway filler on an album or whatever the case may be. I mean, there's plenty of examples out there, but that is not the case here. Corey Taylor previously addressed how Slipknot does not play Gematria live in an interview that he did with the All Things Music podcast back in 2023, where he said that it would actually never happen, and he gave some reasoning as to why. Here's what he said. I've always wanted to open a concert with Gematria. There are certain odiums around the way that that song was created and recorded, which is why some of the guys in the band are like, fuck that, we'll never play it. The reason isn't even sentimental. It's resentment. But for me, man, it's such a fucking burner that I just love that song. I can listen to that shit all fucking day. It just comes screaming out of no fucking where. But it'll never happen. Unless the Pope ends up opening for Slipknot someday, that shit will never happen. Obviously, it did end up happening, although not as the opening song as Corey wanted. The band opened the show with Sick, then went into People Equal Shit, and then into Gematria, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that it still happened. They still played it live for the first time ever after almost 2 decades. I really hope that moving forward they will keep it in the set. I don't think All Hope Is Gone is one of Slipknot's best albums by any stretch, but there are some real bangers on there beyond Psychosocial and stuff and things like that. With Gematria being one of those. One of my other favorites is Till We Die, which is on the deluxe edition of All Hope Is Gone. That's one of my favorite Slipknot songs ever. That song was actually originally recorded for the long-awaited Look Outside Your Window album, which allegedly is supposed to release at some point soon. I did a video on the entire Look Outside Your Window saga, which I'll put a link to down below if you want to check that out. As far as Slipknot and Knotfest Australia goes, though, that's really all I wanted to talk about, although it is worth noting that Hatebreed is also a part of it, and they played their first show with Matt Bashad from Shadows Fall, playing bass in place of original bassist Chris Beattie, who recently confirmed that he is in fact out of Hatebreed after now more than 30 years in that band. That definitely does not seem like a great situation going on there. We broke that whole thing down yesterday. You can check that out below if you want. But beyond Knotfest Australia, Slipknot will head over to Europe this summer for a tour over there, and then return to the US to headline Incarceration in Mansfield, Ohio in July. I'm really hoping that we'll get another Slipknot US tour soon. They did just do one last year, the anniversary tour that we talked about, but that really really only played just a handful of markets. It wasn't exactly an extensive tour, so it would be great for another opportunity to see Slipknot live, and hopefully Gematria will remain in the set when they do tour next, and sending best wishes to Clown and his family. But that's all I got for you for right now. Thanks so much for hanging out. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe below if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time.